Story 1. I worked night audit at a small highway hotel for about 8 months. It wasn't the kind of place people stayed for long. Mostly truck drivers, people passing through, or couples who didn't want to be seen somewhere nicer. My shift was always the same. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. After midnight, it got quiet. Too quiet. There was one rule they told me on my first day. Don't rent out room 214. No explanation, no story. Just don't. I asked why once. My manager just said, "System thing, leave it alone." So I did. Most nights, I sat behind the desk watching security cameras and trying not to fall asleep. We had 6 cameras total: lobby, parking lot, stairwell, hallways, and one pointed directly at the second floor corridor where room 214 was. Nothing ever happened. Until one night, around 2:30 a.m., I heard footsteps upstairs. Slow, even, not rushed, not wandering, like someone pacing. That wasn't unusual, except I checked the system. There were no occupied rooms on the second floor. I pulled up the camera. The hallway outside 214 was empty. Still, nothing moving. Then, the door to 214 opened. Slow. No one came out. It just opened and stayed that way. I stared at the screen for a full minute, waiting for someone to step out. No one did. I told myself it was a glitch. Old system, bad wiring. Still, I grabbed the master key. The second floor felt colder. Not dramatically, just enough that you noticed it. I walked down the hallway, slowly. The carpet muffled everything, even my own footsteps. Room 214 was closed again. I stood there, listening. Nothing. I should have left. I know that now. Instead, I swiped the key. The light inside flicked on automatically. The room looked normal. Bed made, TV off, curtains closed. Except there was a smell. Not strong, just faint, metallic. I stepped inside. The carpet felt stiff under my shoes. That's when I saw it. A stain near the foot of the bed, dark, spread unevenly. I crouched down, touched it. Dry. Blood. Old enough to have soaked in, but not old enough to be ignored. I stood up immediately, back toward the door. That's when I heard it. The sink turned on. I froze, water running, steady. I hadn't touched anything. The bathroom light was off, but I could hear it clearly. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Then, the water shut off. Silence again. I don't know why I did this, but I walked toward the bathroom. Slow. Each step felt heavier. I pushed the door open. The sink was clean. Dry, no water, no dripping. Mirror spotless. Then I looked down. There were wet footprints, starting at the sink, leading out of the bathroom, across the tile, onto the carpet. I followed them with my eyes. They stopped, right in front of me, facing me, like someone had walked up and just stood there. I left. Didn't turn the lights off. Didn't lock the door. I went straight downstairs, sat behind the desk, didn't look at the cameras again. Morning came slower than it ever had. When my manager arrived, I told him everything. He didn't interrupt, didn't question, just listened. Then he nodded, like he'd heard it before. He said, "We had someone die in there." I asked when. He said, "Last week." I told him about the blood. He shook his head. We replaced the carpet. I quit 2 days later, but before I left, I checked the system one last time. Room 214 was marked as occupied. No check-in, no name, no record, just occupied. Some rooms don't stay empty. They just stop showing up in the system. If you would have opened that door, subscribe. And don't check twice if you ever see a room marked occupied with no name. Story 2. I worked patient transport in a hospital for about a year. Night shifts mostly. Less chaos. Less people. My job was simple. Move patients between departments, that's it. Around 4 a.m. one night, I got a call. Room 312. Pickup request already in the system. Transfer to the morgue. That wasn't unusual. I grabbed a gurney and headed up. The hallway was quiet. Lights dimmed. Everything felt slower. Room 312's door was closed. I knocked. No response. I pushed it open. The room was dark. The patient was already on the bed. Covered. Sheet pulled up to the neck. Normal. I checked the chart. Name. Age. Time of death. 4:02 a.m. I looked at the clock. 4:03. That felt wrong, but not impossible. I moved the body to the gurney. It felt heavy, stiff. As I adjusted the sheet, I saw the neck. There was a wound. Deep. Torn open. Not surgical. Not clean. I could see inside. Dark tissue. Something pale underneath. It looked fresh. Too fresh. I leaned closer. The edges of the wound were wet. Then, the chest moved. Just slightly. I froze. Waited. Nothing. I told myself it was residual movement. Air. Nerves. I pulled the sheet fully over the face and started pushing. The hallway felt longer than before. The wheels echoed too loud. Halfway to the elevator, I heard it. A breath. Not mine. I stopped. Slowly, I looked down. The sheet had shifted. The mouth was exposed, open, and something inside it moved. Not breathing. Moving. Like something pushing outward. I ran. Left the gurney. Didn't look back. Later, security pulled the footage they showed me. I saw myself running, leaving the gurney behind. Then, the gurney moved on its own, rolling slowly back down the hallway toward room 312. The door opened, and it went inside. No one touched it. No one followed. The log still says, patient transferred, but that's not the part that stuck with me. It's what the nurse told me the next day. Room 312 had been empty all night. No patient, no death, no chart, nothing. Some things don't get transferred. They just move on their own. If you would have kept pushing that gurney, subscribe. And next time you hear breathing that isn't yours, don't stop to check. There's no real reason. Just kept putting it off. When the pain started, it wasn't that bad. A dull ache in the back of my jaw. Came and went, then it didn't. By the third day, it felt like pressure. Not sharp, just something pushing from inside. I booked the first appointment I could find. Small place, older building. The kind of office that hasn't been updated in years. The waiting room was empty. No receptionist. Just a clipboard with my name already written on it. That should have been the first sign. I sat anyway. Lights buzzing overhead. Too bright. A man came out. Didn't introduce himself. Didn't ask my name. Just said, "Come in." The room looked normal. Chair, tools, light. Everything clean. Too clean. I sat. He didn't ask questions. Didn't check anything. Just leaned in and said, "My, open." I did. No gloves. That bothered me, but not enough. He pressed along my jaw. Stopped exactly where the pressure was. Then smiled. "Do you feel it moving?" I pulled back. "What?" No answer, just the light closer, blinding. He picked up a long, thin tool. No anesthesia. Before I could react, he drove it into my gum. Pressure first, deep, then movement. Inside my jaw, something shifted. I jerked, tried to pull away. His hand locked my head in place. "Hold still." Then a crack. I tasted blood. Warm. He pulled back, and something came with it. Not a tooth. It moved. Small, wet, legs. He dropped it into a tray. There were more. Dozens. Still moving. I tried to scream. More pressure. something pushing forward, forcing its way out, splitting the gum wider, sliding between my teeth. He kept working, calm, focused. They've been in there a long time. I couldn't close my mouth. Something deeper moved, slower, heavier. My jaw stretched wider, too wide. I felt it tear, corners of my mouth splitting, blood running down my neck. He leaned in closer, watching, smiling now. Almost. I saw it in the reflection of the light. Something inside my throat pushing up, thick, segmented. Its head forced past my teeth, opening, not biting, breathing. It got stuck halfway. My body convulsed. It pushed harder. I felt something give. A deep, tearing shift inside my jaw. Then it came free, sliding out of my mouth, wet, heavy. It dropped onto my chest, warm, and started moving, crawling across my neck. Its legs dug into my skin, sharp. I tried to grab it. My hands wouldn't move. The dentist picked it up gently, like it mattered, held it up to the light. "Perfect," he said. Then he looked back at me, and I realized something. The tray wasn't empty anymore. The smaller ones were gone. I felt something shift inside my throat then. Another movement. I passed out, and when I woke, I couldn't move. Not my hands, not my jaw, not even my eyes. I could still feel everything. The thing he pulled from my mouth was in a glass container now, clear, sealed. It moved slowly along the inside, pressing against the surface, testing it. There were others on the counter, more containers, different sizes, some small, some not. One of them was barely moving, curled in on itself. Another was larger, restless. Its body pressed constantly against the glass, leaving streaks of something thick behind. The dentist set mine down with the others, carefully, like he'd done it 100 times. Then he turned back to me. "Try not to swallow," he said. I felt something drop into the back of my throat, small, cold. It slid down slowly. I tried to gag. Couldn't. He watched my throat move, satisfied. "They don't survive well outside," he said. I didn't understand. Not yet. He adjusted the overhead light, then picked up a clipboard. My name was on it, underneath. Dates. 3 visits, but I'd only been there once. He flipped the page. More names, dozens, each one marked, some with notes. Mature. Extraction complete. Reimplant scheduled. My chest tightened. I looked back at the containers. One of them had a name written on the side, a name I recognized. My coworker. He'd mentioned going to the dentist a few weeks ago. Said he had pressure in his jaw. I hadn't thought about it again. The creature inside his container was larger than mine, its body thick, segments stretched tight, and along its underside, small pale shapes clung to it, eggs. I felt something move in my stomach, not pain, movement. The dentist followed my gaze. "They adapt better this way," he said. "Human hosts provide consistent growth conditions." He said it like he was explaining something normal, like this was routine. I tried to speak. All that came out was a wet sound. He stepped closer. "They start small," he said. "Most people don't notice." I felt it again, inside me, slow, deliberate. He tapped my chart. "You're early." I didn't understand. Then he turned the page, and I saw the schedule. My name again. 2 weeks from now. Extraction. My vision blurred. I tried to move again. Nothing. He leaned in close. "You'll feel pressure," he said, then relief. I felt something shift higher in my throat, closer now, waiting. He reached for another container, opened it. Inside, not something smaller, barely formed, still moving. He turned it toward me. "Next one," he said. "I woke up in my car. Parked outside, same as before. No pain, no blood. I checked my mouth. Normal. I told myself it was over, that it wasn't real. Then I swallowed and felt it. Something shift. Deep. Alive. I tried to cancel the appointment. They told me I'd never schedule one. I tried to call the office. The number didn't exist. I drove back. The building was gone. Empty lot like it had never been there. That was 2 weeks ago. The pressure's back. Stronger. Constant now. Sometimes at night, I feel it moving up. Testing. Like it's learning the shape of my mouth. And this morning, I woke up with blood on my pillow. Not much. Just enough. My jaw feels loose now, like something inside is pushing it wider, making space. I check the mirror, open my mouth. For a second, everything looked normal. Then, something inside shifted forward and stopped, right behind my teeth, waiting. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. You're ready. If your jaw ever starts to ache for no reason, don't wait too long. Subscribe before they decide you're ready.